Oh, come on. We got the ball flight a lot higher than that. I worked with him all winter last winter, and then he went out to Puerto
All right,
Rico.
Evan, we just hit the stream.
Tore a ligament in his
Thank you.
wrist.
I'm gonna pot your mic down just so you know.
Okay.
Just you can still hear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are our levels good?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's usually we're right around the halfway mark.
Okay.
And then, so Dan's 1, I'm 2, you're 3?
Yeah.
Okay. And Evan usually texts me if I need to pot one up or down.
Bouncing or something.
Mm.
Headset volume okay, Dan?
Hmm?
Put a little closer. Good morning. Just after 7 a.m., we welcome you in live to another edition of Tee2Green. We're on the air on WGR and, of course, on our video platforms at T2G Buffalo. We're live on Instagram. We're live on YouTube. We're live on X at T, the number 2, at T2G Buffalo. Happy to be with you here for another Saturday on Saturday, April 18th. I'm Brian Colzio alongside PGA Pro Jeff Meadis, Evan DiPasquale producing on the radio side, Jeff Blank, part of our team, producing on the video side of things. And we're happy to be at Lockport Town and Country Club on a beautiful morning here on Saturday. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning. Always one of the best views. We get to see the sun come up through the windows and watch some golfers top some tee shots off the first tee here.
Yeah, we've had a couple of golfers already out here already.
Yep.
If you're watching on the video stream, we're inside their grill room and overlooking the first tee box.
Yep.
It's
18. Yeah, it's a beautiful view this morning. It always is. It's one of the better country club views you can have in the Western New York area.
Yeah, we're excited to be here. We've been here since our start 20 some years ago, and Lockport Town and Country Club been a big supporter of Tee2Green for many years. We're going to talk with Roland O'Malley, the general manager, and Dan Vanille, the PGA Pro, here in just one moment. But what's coming up on the show? Well, we're going to get our Western New York PGA tip of the week. Dan and Jeff going to give us their expertise, and we're going to talk a little bit about uneven lies, uphill lie, side lie, downhill lie, all that sort of stuff. That's coming up, which is a shot you might face here at Lockport Town and Country Club.
Not might.
You will
face.
That's right. We'll get to that. Also, of course, our whip around the leaderboards, PGA Tour leaderboard, Champions Tour, LPGA report. That's all coming up. And a little bit more coming up in our second segment on some live reports this week, that maybe the funding's going away. There's a lot of questions with players. It was a bad week. It's a bad week for live golf, Jeff.
It was a bad look for them this week. It's not breaking my heart, but yeah, it seemed like this was inevitable, but it's a lot of uncertainty going on right now.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. And of course, we'll throughout here give us more of your thoughts on the Masters, but just a quick thought on Rory repeating, Jeff.
Does it ever disappoint the Masters? It always, he's 12 shot lead or 12 under, 6-shot lead, and it still ends up being a great closing final 9, as it always is. It's just it's a tournament that never disappoints.
No, it really was. I thought outstanding, and obviously McIlroy had to work hard. He was down by 2 shots twice during the final round. Justin Rose had a 2-shot lead. Cameron Young had a 2-shot lead.
There were so many people you wanted to root for to win, too. There was no villains, it felt like. Everybody up near the lead, you had a good soft spot in your heart and wanted them to get their green jacket.
Yeah, when Rose got the lead, I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm happy with him winning. When Cam Young got the lead, I was like, okay, that'll be a great champion too. Yeah. And then Rory coming back obviously provided us with a good story as well. So anyway, we're happy to be here, and let's bring in our guests. Dan Vanille here in person, PGA Pro, and Roland O'Malley is on the phone, live in his headquarters down in Florida. Raul, good morning. How are you? Thanks for having us back at your other home away from home here in Lockport, your longtime home. Yes.
Yeah, it's been a long time, Raul.
Yes.
But you're getting to be a little bit of a short timer, I heard, Raul. Yeah. That's why you're in Florida as we speak, huh? Just preparing yourself for your future. Yeah, it's about to get real busy. You can see we're here at the club, and you're watching people pile off the first tee. The weather's warm. The trees are starting to get buds on them. There's mowers out there. Yeah, it's an exciting time of year.
Yeah, we really are. So, Raul, we'll talk about your years here and all that, but I know there's some exciting news happening here at the club with promotions and a renovation. Let's start with the renovation, because that's the physically thing that I saw right when I walked in here. Tell everybody what's happening with that. That's great, Dan. By the way, good morning. Thanks for having us here today.
Yeah,
what does it mean for you on the golf side to have a practice facility like that's coming in here?
It just gives me the ability to do more lessons, to help our membership grow in their golfing ability, to hopefully host a PGA Hope session. That's something that I've been wanting to do here, and it just didn't have the facility for it. Now we're going to have the facility for it. So going forward, I'd like to, hopefully host one. That's the goal. But yeah, definitely help improve our members' play.
Yeah, what a benefit for the membership to have a nice, brand new, spanking new, state of the art new practice facility. It's got to be exciting for the membership, for you, for everybody golfers like to hit golf balls. They like to practice. Yeah.
A lot of them. I mean, we have a small warm up area right now. It's not very level anymore, so having a range for them to be able to go down and warm up with, and it's not just it's not just for one demographic of members; it's for the whole membership to go down. Because even if you hit 5 golf balls, you're still down there hitting golf balls. Everybody's gonna use it.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, Raul, you've had a lot of different projects here. I know the patio project was one that we saw recently, but over your time here, I'm sure this has got to feel good for you too, knowing that as maybe you step aside a little in some capacity here, that this is another one of your marks that you're going to leave on this club. Wow.
So, Ralph, I mean, this place is unique. It's an older club. It's a very unique niche. It's out here in Lockport. Tell people a little bit about the history of Lockport and what makes this place so cool and so unique and so special. I understand.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hundred and eight.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, you've obviously had a huge impact on all of the great stuff that's happened here, Raul. You mentioned the membership. How about, I know every year you've got some sort of promotion to get people excited about it. So, what's this year's version of it in 2026? Yeah, that's great. Yeah, LockportCountryClub.com. You can get more membership information there. Obviously, you can come on by here and check out the place and talk with some of the friendly staff. But I think when he says community, Dan, I think that's something you've probably felt since your time here, that I know we feel when we come, that it's a strong community, that this is why it's a special place.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the members that make this place special.
433-5969 as well is the phone number. 433-5969 as well.
Yeah, it feels like home for us when we come here. We've been
I know.
coming and played here so much. It's always one of the shows we look forward to.
Yeah. Well, Raul, we want to let you enjoy your time away in Florida here, so we will let you go. But we want to thank you for your support over the years. And when you're back in town, we got a little something special for you as well from Tee2Green. So we'll connect and we'll make it happen, and we'll get that done. But thanks so much for all your support over the years and everything, not only you've done here with our show, but just for golf in Western New York. Jeff and I, part of the reason we love the show is that we're here to promote the game that we love and the relationships and the community and everything that you said. And, you are an example of all the good people in Western New York that do that on a daily basis. So thank you very much on behalf from us.
Yeah, Lockport's always done everything to support golf in Western New York. Anytime you ask, they always step right up.
You got it. Thanks. They are in my car. I'm ready. I will. Thanks, Raul. Appreciate it. All right, we'll talk soon. All right. Awesome. Rollin O'Malley, general manager, longtime general manager here, and we appreciate his support of the show. But good stuff. And yeah, Dan, that renovation that you guys are talking about, you're having a practice facility. I mean, that's, as you said, it's a whole different way to get your membership involved, whether it's through getting a lesson, whether it's warming up, whether it's a hardcore practice session, all these sort of things. You said you can host more events. That's going to be a game changer for you guys.
It's going to be absolutely huge, and not even just with adding, we say practice facility, not even with just adding the driving range on the other side of the course. We're going to have a short game practice area.
Yeah, talk a little bit about the practice area. It's big, long, tall. Tell us a little bit about.
So the driving range itself is going to be 320 yards long.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be 16 bays. So we're going to be able to have a lot of members down there being able to hit. There's going to be all grass with a turf row in the back for when we host some outside events and when the weather's not the best for growing grass.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're adding a putting green. I wish I knew the square footage of the putting green. I don't off the top of my head, but we're adding a putting green that's going to be down there as well, which is only going to help. It's going to help our members become better putters, even though most of them know the greens pretty well around here.
Yeah, and that's just it's something that we do. We've been coming here a long time. You guys have talked about a range for a long time, and finally seeing it happen must be the best feeling in the world.
I am very excited about this.
Mm-hmm.
I know the membership is very excited about this. We are, we're a growing club. It's a great place to be. It's a great community to join. It's definitely, one of the best clubs in Western New York.
Dan Van LPGA Pro here from Lockport Town and Country Club. Appreciate you being with us here on Tee2Green, on WGR, and on our video streams at Tee2G Buffalo. We're live on X, we're live on Instagram, we're live on YouTube. Be sure to follow us. We'll be giving you great looks like we see the one right here where we're inside the grill room overlooking the 1st and the 18th each and every week. All right, let's get Dan and Jeff's expertise here on our Western New York PGA Tip of the Week, brought to you by the Western New York PGA, which has one goal: growing and promoting the game of golf today, tomorrow, and beyond. All right, if you play here at Lockport Town and Country Club, you may have some different kind of lies. We know a lot of courses, especially in the North Towns, are flatter, but not here. It's right on the ridge, so you're going to get side hill lies, uphill lies, downhill lies. Dan, why don't you start? What are just some of the things that maybe golfers should be thinking about when we go up and the lie's not flat?
So when you go to assess your lie, you want to look at, okay, well, what's my stance going to be? That would be number one. Is the ball going to be above my feet? It's going to be below my feet? Am I sloping? Am I leaning on my lead side? Am I leaning on my trail side? Because all that's going to affect how the ball flight when you hit it. And it's important to understand, when you hit it, if the ball's above your feet, what's it going to do? Well, generally, the ball's above your feet. You want to choke up on the club a little bit, and the ball's going to hook. Ball's below your feet. You're going to want to take a little bit more club, and it's going to fade. That's just you're reaching for it, or you're making a baseball swing at it. I mean, if you look out number one here, you end up on that hill on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck hitting it to the right. Ball's going left.
Yeah, and I like to think you got to be careful. A couple practice swings make a big difference when the ball's above your feet or below your feet. Ball below your feet's a tougher shot for me. You got to maintain your posture. Not only does it hook when the ball's above your feet, but it also wants to start as a right-handed golfer left. And one of the best tips I ever got is if you're hitting an uphill shot, so you're on an upslope, your ball's level or whatever, but you're on your upslope. One of the things I see people struggle with a lot of times is you have to really aggressively move forward because that slope's working against you. That's one of those times in the golf swing where you really work on rotating through, facing your target, accelerating and getting to that forward leg. And then if it's a downhill lie, you got most of your weight on your left leg. I try to have my shoulders level to the slope as opposed to level to the skyline or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ball below my feet. You're going to chase down that slope. Take a couple practice swings. Now there you're going to take more loft, right? So you're de-lofting the club. If it's a 10-degree slope, you've got 10 degrees less loft to work with. So you're going to, if instead of a 6-iron, you might take a 7-iron because it's going to come out a little flatter. And that little shorter club will help you hit the center of the blade also. So chase down the slope when it's a ball uphill lie. Follow up that slope. You're going to need a little extra club maybe because the ball is going to launch a little higher.
Right.
So those are the things people need to think about. Practice swings make a big difference. Practicing shots like that. You know, if you get a chance, you're out there, throw a couple balls down and hit a shot maybe you haven't hit in a while. And learn to understand how it's going to start left and fade. I always make the mistake, especially with the ball below my feet. It doesn't always fade because I try so hard to square the blade. I end up hitting poles. So you do have to be careful and learn to control your blade on the slope. And that comes through practice and a little bit of creativity.
How about just one that's straight uphill on me? I know we talked about above and below, but what about just straight up?
That's the one I'm talking
Yeah.
about where you just got to chase with your turn.
That's
You gotta,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, you have to make sure you get to that forward leg and keep rotating as hard as you can.
I feel like I'd be so nervous. I'm just going to take all earth, you know, and on a shot like that.
Yeah, so that's why you set your shoulders level to the slope and then aggressively turn up the slope. Sometimes with those awkward lies, I do move the ball back a little bit in my stance just to make sure I get a little bit of more clean contact and you know, your contact's the clean contact's the number one thing you're looking for. And just moving it back a little bit, especially because it's so hard to move forward and get your center forward with those uphill lies.
Yeah, and especially, you know, with the down, so when you're downhill and uphill, I always like to move the ball a little bit further back in my stance on a downhill line, a little bit further up on an uphill line. And again, you know, matching the shoulders to the slope. That's, again, setup, posture, assessing how you're going to stand to it.
All right, good tips there from Dan and Jeff. Again, our Western New York PGA tip of the week. If you want to get your son or daughter involved in the game, lots of good opportunities at westernnewyork.pga.com. You can sign up for the junior tour. Hey, if your son or daughter is a competitive player, they've got 9-hole, 18-hole divisions. They've got an event today going on. You can get in on those. Drive, chip, and putt. You might have watched it last week at the Masters. That's free. You can sign up any skill level for that, and lots of different locations around Western New York. And they also have PGA Junior League, which I know Lockport's haven't been involved with here, and a lot of other courses across Western New York. So that's a fun partner kind of team event. Jeff, I know you love PGA Junior League.
Best way to get your kid involved in golf because all it is fun and it has that team concept, which is rare in golf. And kids just enjoy being on the team.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they just rolled out a 9U program. So before it was 13U, so now they had 9U. So it's, even if you got younger kids,
that's great.
Definitely something that I highly recommend. It's a ton of fun.
The shirts.
You give them the jerseys and the shirts, and they've got their name and their number on there. They love it.
They make it just like, you know, going to play, you know, house soccer or baseball. It's awesome.
Do you remember being a kid getting your jersey for your team? How cool it was? Yeah. Now you get to do that with golf.
Yeah. No, and the format too, with it being the 2-person scramble, like it's so low pressure. If you mess up a shot, so what? You got your partner.
Exactly. Yeah. It's definitely getting all the juniors involved that we can and just growing the game any way we can.
That's why everybody loves scrambles. Yeah, put it on your.
You're
partner.
right.
Yeah,
adults love scrambles too.
Yes.
That's why it's a popular format. That's right. Hey Dan, what did you think about Rory's win at the Masters? It was obviously an up and down leaderboard for him on the final day, but he ended up pulling it out.
I am a huge Rory fan. I have a signed flag from his first PGA Championship in my basement.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm always rooting for Rory. He hit the shot on 18, a little wayward, but I'm like, all right, he's gonna get a little creative here, and I think that's a side that, you know, most people don't see, is the creativeness, especially when you're in that sort of light. It's like, okay, well, how am I going to get this? He had to hook that around the tree and ended up in the front left bunker.
Yeah,
went across the entire green. I mean, that's just you know, okay, he has just that much control with the ball out of pine straw.
Yeah, he reminds me of like the Josh Allen of golf. I mean, just his physical capabilities on the golf course and the things that he can do that are different than the rest of the people. And I think people often don't understand how creative and how good these guys are at curving the ball, controlling their trajectory, curving it left and right. instead of just being a machine and hitting it down. They're always working to get into the wind or hitting it higher, hitting it lower, and he's an excellent example of creativity and athleticism when he plays.
I know on Friday, wasn't he like dead last for driving accuracy or second to dead last?
Yeah, he was 90 of 91.
Yeah,
you're right.
Just like that's, and then to be able to, I mean, that just shows you like, okay, he can get out of trouble. His short game's good, so it's not always about driving accuracy. It's about, you know, how do you escape trouble? How are you able to get up and down?
I thought I mentioned you last week on the show. Patrick Reed, I thought, had the line of the tournament in terms of asking not only why was Rory playing so well, but why has he played well there a lot? And he said, you have to be able to be creative. You have to hit different shots. He said you can't play robotic golf at Augusta National and be successful because there's all the different lies. We talked about the different stances and things you're going to have. You definitely get it at Augusta National, but pine straw, sand, you know, different cuts of rough, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and capitalizing when you do hit a good shot too. And I'm always amazed at how the quality of the tour player short games. That's the differentiator between a really good player and a great player is their short games. And he has one of the most amazing short games. He's a great bunker player. Plus, he's got Rochester connections, so you got to root for the guy.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Rory now goes back-to-back Masters. He's only the fourth player to ever do it, joining Nicholas, Faldo, and Woods. That's really, really good company, Dan. And obviously, you being a Rory fan now he's up to 6. Can he get to 10? Is that too much? Is that a number that's maybe too strong of a grasp for, or what do you think?
I don't think so. I think the pressure's off now. He's got the career Grand Slam, which is what he's been chasing. I think he's kind of, I don't want to say coast mode, but he's more focusing on majors and just kind of he's going to prepare better for majors now that there's, you know, he's like, okay, I did my job. I got it. I won an away Ryder Cup. I mean, he said after he won the career Grand Slam, he was asked, you know, what his goals were, and it was to win an away Ryder Cup. Okay.
He just did that. Yeah.
What's his goal now? Back at the Masters. Okay. Now what? Now it might be those 10 majors.
Yeah,
so,
and a three-peat at the Masters. I don't think anybody's done that.
No one has ever done that.
So that would be kind of cool. Plus, there's horses for courses, and he would be a horse for that course.
Even on 18, I mean, just he hits that drive. Were you surprised he hit driver on 18 up too?
No, he had to. Yeah, I mean, you let it rip. Yeah, you're not going to. He's got to. Yeah, I'm not surprised he hit driver. He didn't hit it very well.
Hey, the bailout was right.
Yeah, not that far right.
He kept going to it.
But you know what? In some sense, it benefited him that it was that far right. Had it been a little straighter, he would have been in the middle of the trees instead of. He actually had some room to go around him.
He got lucky. Let's call it what it was. He definitely got lucky. But he hit some really good drives on the back nine, right? So he did hit good drives when he needed to. He put himself in play. And I felt like he drove it a little bit better on the back nine until 18. And his power off the tee, everybody talks about Bryson and how powerful. Rory's as long as anybody out there. He's as powerful. And we always say proximity to the hole is the number one factor in scoring. And when you can get it out there 320 in the air and let it roll out to 360, that's an advantage, even over the tour players.
And we always say, no matter where you play, you have to putt well. I know when we were talking last week, he had the second fewest putts through the first 2 rounds. That's why he had that huge buildup. So again, it always
was 52 putts or something.
51, yeah, putts? 51 putts through 36 holes. Dan, that's an incredible stat.
I wish I could do that in 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's
sometimes
amazing.
It means you're missing the greens, but he was still shooting scores. So he was putting great.
Miss the green, it better be a 1 putt.
Yeah,
gotta get up and down.
Yep, and he did it quite often. Yeah, so second green jacket, 6 major. Think probably now the top resume of any European golfer as well. I know Faldo also has 6 majors, but he doesn't have a Grand Slam. And the Ryder Cup success that Rory has ahead of Faldo's too. So
I concur. He's the top European player in history. I would say, without a doubt. I love Nick Faldo growing up. He's better than Nick Faldo.
The only other player, and you got to see him maybe a little play Seve, and it's more of his impact maybe on the popularity of the game, especially growing it in Spain too and everything there. I mean, that he really grew it there.
Yeah, he created a generation of golfers from Spain that we've seen come up and through and in Europe. And watching him play was like, we talk about creativity all the time. I mean, I'm old enough to remember watching Seve, chip with a 4-iron, stuff like that. He had just a mind like nobody else in a short game that was unexplainable. He was that creative and that good around the greens.
Yep. We're live here at Lockport Town and Country Club, lockportcountryclub.com. If you want to give them a call, get some membership information. Dan, final pitch here. If people want to come and be a member here, what makes this place so special?
the community, the members that are here that are, I mean, you guys saw on the first tee this morning, there was a member and a guest teed off, had another member come up. They weren't planning. They, they were like, yeah, join us. And everybody went off. I mean, we had, saw Bill Height, always ceremonial first tee shot every Tee2Green morning.
He's always here.
We won't comment on the quality of his first shot.
The former Sabre. He's always here and walking. I love it.
Yeah, but definitely the community, and just even not even the golf part. I mean, it's just coming here for dinner, the banquets that we do, the events that we do. I mean, it's definitely a real family atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, Dan, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks everybody here for their support. 433-5969 is the telephone number again. LockportCountryClub.com. All right, we will take a timeout here on Tee2Green. When we come back, we mentioned there's some live news. Jeff and I will talk a little bit about that, and we'll also hear from Rory here. We've got some sound from him talking about his win. Tee2Green. We're live on Twitter. We're live on X, Instagram. I keep saying Twitter. It's X. It's Instagram. It's YouTube.
Twitter the rest of my life.
And of course, on the radio on WGR. More Tee2Green coming up from Lockport right after this. All right, that's Rory McIlroy, the Masters back-to-back champion, saying he doesn't want to stop here. So I asked Dan last segment, Jeff, I'm like, is 10 a reasonable number? I'll ask you now, is 10 a reasonable? He's at 6. I mean, maybe that's a lot. 4 more.
I don't know, because it took 10 years. It's funny how golf happens, right? Like he could have lost that tournament a million ways and not got, and somebody else could have got there first. In golf, you just keep knocking at the door, and if he just keeps knocking at the door, I gotta think he can at least win 1 or 2 more Masters, right? I mean, in his career. And how about the British Open, or I'm sorry, the Open Championship?
Yeah.
How about he's that creative player. He's only got one of those, right? I think he's only won the Open Championship once, so I could be wrong there. But I think he's fun to watch. And the quality of the golf, that's the only problem we had. Scotty Scheffler's an outstanding player too. He's going to win some more majors. As Justin Rose is going to win a major. I believe he's going to win a couple. He's 46 years old, 45 years old, playing like a 30-year-old. So the competition is tough, but he's still got a long runway ahead of him, and he's pointing towards majors. And now that he's brimming with confidence, and I can see a lot more success in the majors for him. I'd love to see him win 1 more this year, just to keep that talk about getting to 10 alive.
Yeah, I can. He won his first in 2011. So I mean, think about it. That's 15 years ago. That was his runaway win at Congressional at the U.S. Open. That was those soft conditions that week, and he was just throwing darts.
And he looked like a puppy back then. He's such a kid, and we watched him grow through golf. I mean, all of us has watched, and we watched him struggle for 10 years without a major, right? And then he comes through, like he said. So you never know. I mean, he could have a great stretch here. He could go 5 years, and then he could win 3 in a year. So you never know with a player of his caliber. That's for sure. I'm rooting for him though.
Yeah, 2011 U.S. Open, then 2012 he wins the PGA. 2014 he wins 2 majors, the Open and the PGA. So I mean, he had 4 quickly out of the gate, and then the 11-year gap to last year's Masters, and then of course another one this year.
Yeah, and wasn't like he wasn't in competition, or he wasn't in the hunt in those 11 years. He certainly was, but he just never had. You got to be a little bit lucky too, right? You got a little lucky on 18. You got lucky with a couple breaks. He hit a couple tee shots that ended up in good spots, and
we know 2 years ago he very easily could have won the U.S. Open. Remember, him and Bryson at Pinehurst were going back and forth. He had that couple missed short putts down the stretch.
He's done that a couple times, and he missed a short. There was a little stretch there. He did. And once you miss one of those little short ones, sometimes that gets in your brain. But he was rolling the ball beautifully. So if he gets hot with his putter, just like any player on tour, he's gonna have a chance to win all the time.
Yeah. Back here at Lockport Town and Country Club again. Thanks to Roland O'Malley, general manager, and Dan Vanel, PGA Pro, for joining us last segment. LockportCountryClub.com if you want membership information, or 433-5969. They've got a really, really great renovation project going on, and it's really great. They're going to have a practice facility here and a range and all that sort of stuff. Jeff, I know you, as a PGA Pro, how much value you have in that too.
Yeah, Dan and I were having a conversation, even for a club, how much a practice facility adds to your club. For every $1 they spend on lessons and stuff, it's $1.75 to the club. Golfers like to get better. They like to hit golf balls. That's why we're all here in the game. That's why the dojo does so well, because people want to see, get their numbers, practice, work on their game. Now you have that opportunity here, not just to go out and play a great place, but also, hey, after my round, I want to work on some stuff. I want to get a lesson. I want to hit some pitches. I want to get my yardages, go to the range. And that's the only thing this place has been missing for years. And I'm happy for them to see that they're going to have that facility soon.
Yeah. One of the best patios also in Western New York.
Yeah, this is fun. Yeah, I love sitting up here. And then I played here a bunch with Tom Capola from GolfDojo, and we're fortunate to be able to come out here and play. And it's just a really casual, relaxed, fun place to play.
Yep. All right. Live this week.
Yes.
There were some reports out there that there was going to be an immediate shutdown. That didn't happen. They're playing in Mexico City this week.
All right.
The players seemingly are not happy because they didn't really get any sort of wind of this, that maybe funding was being pulled. At the very least, on the record, as of this week, could this change? Yes. But at least as of this week, they say that PIF's funding will at least last through the rest of the year. There's no guarantees, though, of what's happening after that. So we've obviously talked about the pros and cons of Live, and everybody's got an opinion on, well, you're getting money from Saudi Arabia and the PIF fund, and like, what does that mean? And should we be taking money from that? And should have players jumped for that? We don't have to go down that road again. We've been talking about that for years. The fact that this, obviously, though, there's something happening
Jeff, that has lived at its weakest moment here that we've seen since that it arrived.
You know, to me, it seemed inevitable at some point. I know they have a lot of money and they can keep, funding this ad infinitum if they want, but at some point, like, they're not getting any bang for their buck. No one's showing up at these events. They don't have a good TV contract. You only have a few names out there that people recognize, and those guys are making a ton of money. I saw the earnings list for some of those guys, their career earnings on Live, and it just seems like what they wanted to achieve by creating Live, they haven't achieved. So at some point, you keep pushing good money after bad when what you tried to create didn't turn out the way you wanted it to turn out, or didn't create what you wanted to create in the golf world. It's a sideshow. It's a boondoggle over there where a couple good players a year go, and that's about it. And the players all seem to want to jump ship as soon as possible, so they're not enjoying there. So I don't see how it continues unless they really don't care. But after this season, I would bet dollars to donuts it's going to go away, and then it'll be interesting to see what happens with all those players that are playing out there. Where do they go? Some of them may not have status anymore, and now they've made enough money, obviously. But as a player and a competitor, you want to keep playing. What happens to those players? That'll be the next interesting step.
Two big names we know have left, and that's Koepka, who's already joined the PGA Tour, and Reed, who will be in August. So the way that his
he's qualified,
right? Yes. Through DP World Tour and other things. You also, of course, there's probably, to me, there's two names left that is holding whatever Live draw is. It's Rahm and it's DeChambeau, and those two, in terms of their return to playing in majors and along those things, because they have won majors, they are still eligible for the majors for a long time here, because of the fact that they've won them. So they have that eligibility. And if you're playing in majors, you're accumulating points, they probably can get themselves back on the PGA Tour in terms of their status if their contract allows them to, maybe sooner than all these other guys. But I mean, to me, those are the only two left. If you said if the PGA Tour said okay, who are the players you really, really want to have back from Live? I think once you're past those two names, I honestly think, I don't think that they need any of them, but
no, I don't think they need any of them either.
I think DeChambeau and Rahm, if they could take those two today and make it work in a way that, contractually and all that, I think those would be the two. Other than that,
Joaquin Neiman,
maybe.
He's a very nice player.
Yes.
But I also think Rahm is 3 rate. It is not the player he was 3-4 years ago when he went to Live, and
he was the best player in the world when he left.
Yeah, and that was devastating because I really enjoyed watching him. But now I don't think and that's what happens when you're not competing at a high level all the time. And obviously DeChambeau's, and we talked about Cam Young last week, and his game's gone to whatever. And so a lot of those players are going to end up on different tours scattered throughout the world and trying to make their way back to the PGA Tour. It'll be an interesting watch. The tour is so competitive, right? I mean, it's always been that way, but it gets more and more competitive, and it's top 100 now. The tour has changed, and the events have changed, so it's getting a little harder to crack your way into the PGA Tour lineup. So it'll be really interesting. It doesn't break my heart. I never thought it was good for golf to separate people like that, and to I'm not a fan of the shorts, and I'm more of a traditionalist, like traditions, and that's why do we love the Masters? Because of the traditions, right? Why do we like the U.S. Open? It's on Father's Day Sunday. It's the best day of the year, and all those it would take years and years and years and years for them to have any kind of tradition, and I just don't see it. I never saw it catching on.
Yeah, and I understand there's an audience that loves to have music going and noise and all that. I think that's why the Phoenix Open, the Waste Management Open works, because it's once a year, and you've got the one stadium hole, which is raucous and all that. But I think, Live is like, hey, let's make every hole, every event like that all the time. And then I think it almost loses its, right? It's like kind of
the novelty's gone,
right?
Wears off, yeah.
Right. When it's not special because it's every single hole all the time. If the draw of that for people that like that, I feel like it's not as special, and because it's every single hole all the time, it seems contrived, I guess, at that point.
It seems forced and contrived. And I do believe most people like golf for what golf is, right? We like golf because of all the stuff we do. We like the peace and quiet when we're out there. We like to hear the birds chirping.
Yeah.
We like to talk to our fellow competitors and get to know people. And You love if you're a player to have crowds, and you're playing in front of no crowds and the travel they have there too has to be very difficult because they literally go all around.
I saw
the
a
world.
quote. It said like if you are interested in not traveling around the world, or that you want the U.S. to be your home base, they're like, this is not the tour for you.
Yeah. There's a lot of airline miles if
Yeah.
you're playing for live.
I think there's nothing wrong with the thought of like growing the game globally. Like
Right.
they have their most successful event, at least to my eyes, is the one that's in Australia, and that's great. If and they had one in South Africa that seemingly was pretty successful. I know they're playing in Mexico City this week. I think getting golf globally is something that if Live goes away, that maybe if the PGA Tour, I'm not saying they have to steal ideas from Live, but if there's some way for them to maybe have a little bit more global outreach. I know they have the DP World Tour, which does a lot of it more of that. So maybe that just is automatically taking care of that. But maybe a way just to get some of the big stars, maybe once or twice, in some of these other portions of the world that maybe they don't have a PGA Tour event. I think maybe that's something they could look into.
And I kind of looked at it, if they were really trying to grow golf, if that was the real goal, and that didn't work well, and you still have a lot of money, why not do something for the women? Why not have a women's live tour and get women's golf more global? Put more money into women's golf. Why not do what the Masters does, where they embrace drive, chip, and putt, and they embrace the Augusta Women's National Amateur, and do things to grow golf from the grassroots instead of trying to cherry pick the top players and create an alternate tour. Create a tour that's growing golf and use that kind of money to do something different with the money as opposed to just try to have the biggest, shiniest, brightest thing.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll obviously
that's my opinion.
Yep. We'll be following the Live stories here throughout. Speaking of other golf, the PGA Tour, the Champions Tour, the LPGA Port, that's all coming up here. We'll step aside. We'll take another break here. We're live at Lockport Town and Country Club. Again, lockportcountryclub.com. Membership information 433-5969. And we'll come back and we'll rip around here. A big tournament on the PGA Tour this week. Elevated event, the RBC Heritage. We'll get the latest on that here. We'll see how some of the players that come off the Masters are doing this week as we whip around our leaderboards. When we return, along with PG Pro Jeff Metis, Evan DePasquale producing on the radio side, Jeff Blank producing on our stream side. Check us out at Tee2G Buffalo. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on X, as we are live here inside the beautiful grill room at Lockport Town and Country Club. More Tee2Green coming up right after this timeout. after a 65 in round one. He's at -14. He's your leader, one ahead of Victor Hovland, who shot 64-65, almost as equally as impressive. He's one behind Harris English and Solo third at -10. World number one, Scotty Scheffler, he is lurking. He is at -7, so he'll enter the weekend 7 off the lead.
And your PGA Tour Champions Report is brought to you by Donald Ross Sportswear, your hometown premium golf apparel company. Find us in your local pro shop or online at donaldross.com. And it's a big one. It's the Senior PGA Championship at the Concession Golf Course down in Florida. And it's a 72-hole event. Right now, Scott Hend and Brian Gay are tied at 10 under, followed by the Silky Retief Goosen, Stuart Sink, and Ben Crane at 8 under.
The LPGA Report brought to you by NUTRL. Keep it tasty, Buffalo. It's the JM Eagle LA Championship going on at Caballero Country Club in Los Angeles, and Si Young Kim is your leader. She is at 14 under par, but want to give a shout out and say let's go here to Melanie Green, just down the road here in Medina. She's tied for 4th. She's 5 off the lead at -9. She's having a great year.
It's been fun to watch her because I've been hearing her name since she was in 8th grade playing golf with the boys and stuff around here, and just to see her get on tour, and she plays out of Berkeley, I think, in Rochester also when she's home, but yeah, it's super fun to watch. I'll be watching, rooting for her.
Yeah, so that's she tees off at 1:30. The leader, Si Young Kim, at 1:50. So if you want to watch that, I know Golf Channel has coverage of that today. The RBC Heritage, a course that is a tighter one, and
The golf course.
yeah, the golf course itself at Hilton Head. And I saw a stat yesterday that I was blown away with here, because Scotty Scheffler yesterday was perfect, 14 for 14 in terms of hitting fairways yesterday. It was the first time since 2003. I think that shows how hard it is to do it at that course. It's
hard anywhere.
It's hard anywhere, but to do that yesterday. Now, again, I didn't watch every single shot, so I don't know how often maybe he was hitting different types of clubs off the tees, but still, it's an impressive stat for Scheffler to do that yesterday.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think a lot of them might not have been drivers down there for him, and it's ball placement off the tee there a lot. It's not they still overpower everything they play, but yeah, he's probably hitting a lot more 3-woods and irons off the tee around that golf course. But still, 14 to 14. I don't know if I've ever done that in my life. Maybe once, but it's impressive. Like we talk about, everybody's so impressive out there. If you think you're good, go watch these guys play, and then you get a dose of reality. They are so good. They're like Olympic athletes.
I know. It's perfect with Scheffler on the fairways. Last week, we know in the second round, Terrell Hatton, who has not had success at the Masters, has even vocally said he's like, I can't play here, or whatever. He was a perfect 18 for 18,
which I think is harder
in greens and regulation. Yeah, because even if you hit the putting surface, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stay there at Augusta. It moves quite a bit.
Because you have to control your spin. If it's got too much spin, or if it doesn't have enough spin, or if it lands on the wrong spot of the green, it's going to kick off or over. So, yeah, that's impressive. And to hit 14 to 14. And just the scores you're listing for these, I mean, it's just ridiculous how low these players go. But it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a heavy name leaderboard. The leaders today at the RBC Heritage will tee off at 2. Fitzpatrick and Hovland. By the way, Kevin Sylvester, normally part of our show, is already on the air on PGA Tour Live and on ESPN Plus. So that's why Kevin unable. He's like, hey, don't forget. He was on at like 6:30 this morning. So
yeah, Kevin,
he was going strong.
Hey, good to see Kev working a little bit. I like to pick on him when he's not around. Yeah.
So if you want to hear Kevin, he's on the stream this morning. Yeah, so, and you got a fitting today, right?
No, not today. I'm going to do some work. We got some custom fittings coming this Wednesday at the GolfDojo that we're excited about. So looking forward to that. And we got a couple lessons today. But yeah, that's what I like to do. I like teaching. I like fitting. I like making golfers better. Yeah.
People this week, it's 75 out. Yep. They want to get out and play. They're ready to go, and they want to get their swing better.
Yeah, this is a busy time of year for us. It's a good time to check your fundamentals and get ready for the season. It's going to be a nice long golf season.
Yeah, and here, obviously, they've got a great event here coming up today, and everybody at Lockport Town and Country Club, we want to thank them for their support of the show. One more time, lockportcountryclub.com if you want to get membership information, or 716-433-5969. Thanks to Rollin O'Malley, General Manager, Dan Vanille, PGA Pro, for both joining us earlier on in the show. If you missed the show, we'll have the audio link up at WGR550.com. We'll tweet it out as well later today. For MVD Pasquale, producing back in our Amherst studios, Jeff Blank, Jeff Meadis, I'm Brian Koziel. Tee2Green every Saturday morning right here on WGR.